Alright guys, criminal. In this one I'm gonna be covering Johnny Cage post the balance patch that was just happened. First of all, let me just start by saying Johnny is just the exact same, no changes. Like the plus frames are still here, +4, +3, 9 frame mid, which is busted. All of the plus frames are here, so individually Johnny is most likely the best character in the game because the other top tiers were nerfed. Like Kenshi is no match for him individually, Ashra is no match for him individually, and Raiden and Baraka have been nerfed significantly. Both the characters themselves and the ideal Kameo, which is Cyrax, who got significant nerfs. So, what about Johnny? Johnny's ideal cameos, if you watch TCT, you could see pretty much the only cameos people use with him are Cyrax and Kung Lao, and both have been nerfed because they were the best cameos in the game. And they probably still are, let's be real. But Cyrax took a much more significant nerf. The ground version of the source, the held version R1, you hold R1 and this happens, now takes a full cameo gauge. So if you want to use this shit, you have to sacrifice everything you've got. So this is much less viable for like doing a poke into Rising Star on block and just getting your turn like that, like because this jails. If you want to do that now, you need your entire cameo gauge, and now it takes a while for it to actually come back. So that's a big issue for Johnny, of course, because the Rising Star things were just how he kept himself like a plus on block. He was doing this, and kept the blocks then going from there. Like, did shit like this, and then did this again. Into again another Rising Star. So he was ramping up the chip damage, ramping up the frustration from the opponent who has to block all of this. He's getting the mix-ups from this and this. From this, the throws that lead to combos, and still do. But with this now, he is weaker on block when using Cyrax. So that's the major nerf. Cyrax didn't get touched otherwise. It's pretty much the exact same, no differences. Like, the double height stuff still works. Like, doing a net still works. You can even get a jump in, it still works. The combos he's doing with Cyrax upstores are still here. They haven't been nerfed or something. Upstores are basically the exact same. Maybe just a little bit more scaling, but that combo still works and still does ridiculous amounts of damage. So Cyrax is nerfed. The ultra mega expensive routes are now nerfed because this takes a full cameo gauge. This thing, you can't activate it without a full cameo gauge. So of course Cyrax and Johnny have been nerfed. They are nerfed as a duo. Kung Lao also got nerfed. This is a reversal, now doesn't launch anymore, which is a nerf to the cameo, but isn't very specific to Johnny because he has other reversals that are way better. Like he has the shadow kick, which is very very fast, 8 frames armor move, and he has this frame 1 activation pretty much, frame 1 or frame 2 counter. If you did anything that is a mid or high, including grabs and command grabs, you just get punched in the face. He has this fatal blow, which is of course another great reversal tool if you want to use it. But yeah, so the reversal isn't very big, but the low hat nerf is significant. It pretty much has doubled the cooldown now. Granted, it was basically instant, so it still recovers very very fast, but the major use for Kung Lao with Johnny was of course block viability. Like, you do this shit, plus frames, Buster, fastest poke in the game, 6 frames, you get them because they were trying to mash, plus frames, plus frames, plus frames. As you can see, this shit is still an option. The Buster is already half back, like it still recovers insanely fast. But this is you can't repeat this as much as you could, and the main use Johnny actually got of Kung Lao was actually closing the gap. Johnny actually has some trouble dealing with zoners sometimes because you need to spend bars for the EX Shadow Dash, and if the opponent reacts in time for that, they can just punch you in the face when you get to them. Like, this is punishable. I can't move for a little bit when I do the Shadow Dash, so they can just punch me in the face and get the full combo. But with Kung Lao, you can pretty much get in with the Shadow Kick very very safely. You just do this, Shadow Kick, release it, and you're still plus here. So I got my turn back and Kung Lao is already back. So I just get the ball rolling with this. But of course this is a massive nerf for Johnny still. This is a big nerf for Johnny Kung Lao because this is now not as possible as it was. Like, if I held Buster for the entire duration, now I don't even have Kung Lao back to do this. So I lose my turn already. Normally Kung Lao would have already been back, so my turn is back. I can go for grabs, I can go for shit. But now I sacrifice all of Kung Lao for a little while to get in with the Shadow Kick, and then I can't use them for a little bit. So of course the viability on neutral and on block is now reduced. But with that out of the way, who's the ideal cameo now? As we've said, established frame data is the same, no differences. But who's the ideal cameo now? Because these two are nerfed, so is Johnny just forced to switch a cameo? Not really. If you want neutral, Kung Lao is probably still your best bet because the Buster is still ridiculously unfair and it comes back insanely fast. And Johnny can easily keep the opponent blocking even by himself. Like, he has so many fucking plus frames. You do this into this shit, and Kung Lao is already fully back. So, poke here, they mashed, I got the poke in, I still get my turn. So, Kung Lao is much less of a nerf. Kung Lao is probably the best Kameo in the game now because the others didn't really get touched at all. Only Kung Lao and Cyrax got nerfed, and Cyrax took a much heavier hit. Cyrax's nerf is much more significant. This cooldown nerf, while a big nerf for the character, Kung Lao Basso recovered pretty much instantaneously. It had no cooldown almost, so doubling it doesn't really make for a long cooldown. Like, it's already back. You can see it's very, very easy to get this back. So for neutral, Kung Lao is still the best bet. And what Cyrax was doing with Johnny is basically the same. Like, the Rising Star things, they are very, very overrated because Johnny doesn't need any Kameo to be viable on block. Like, he doesn't really need anybody to be good on block. Like, this thing, yeah, you now can't just do this on block all the time. This. You will be able to do it most of the time, but now you can just repeat this multiple times and ramp up a lot of shield damage with Cyrax, but Johnny didn't need it in the first place. Like, it was just a bonus he didn't really need, so Johnny doesn't rely on this nonsense to actually get going. Like, he has so many plus frames, he can always do the grab mix-ups, he has high lows, so Johnny isn't reliant on Cyrax like Baraka and Raiden are to actually open up the opponent and get the damage going. Because they were reliant on the chip damage. He is not. He doesn't really need the chip damage. He's just doing the mix-ups, you know, with his plus frames and the just ridiculously unfair plus frames. So Johnny isn't really hurt because everything else with Cyrax is the same. Like, the double hype stuff, which is, I would argue, the biggest power of these two together, because just getting hype anywhere on screen and then just finishing it with another hype was hurt. Because now in hype combos doing this, I don't think it's possible with the net anymore. Like, doing this and the net in the same combo, maybe very, very early in the combo. That's probably the only way to do it, actually. Is the net back in time? No, it's not. You can't use the swords anymore if you actually want to get double high, but keep in mind, if you are good with the character, you can delay your inputs enough so that it's not an issue to actually get the net at the end of the hype. So, I delay my nut punches a lot, and my Rising Star. Like, I just delay all of my inputs, and then I can still get net at the end of combos. So the delayed nut punches make it so this is still not that hard to get. Granted, you need to know what you're doing, but again, you can just confirm into this, and then Cyrax. So it's still possible. Double hype is still a thing. Like, you get the net off, you still get the double hype, even the jumping. It's the exact same, no differences. The grab is still here. So like the mind game in hype, the mind game with the bomb resets and the grab resets are still here. Like, this bullshit, all of this is still an option. It didn't get nerfed, it didn't get touched. So all of these things are still here. So the value he's getting for Cyrax, even outside of hype, for his combo damage, it's still here. It didn't get touched, really. Like, Johnny is still doing the same nonsense he was doing. Like, his damage is basically better than Raiden and Baraka now. So Johnny is just the exact same when using these two. He's hardly changed. I would argue he's even more of the same. He's even less hurt with Cyrax than he actually is with Kung Lao, even though the Cyrax nerf is much more significant. Johnny wasn't relying on the ground version of the source for anything. He doesn't need it for combos, he doesn't need it for block strings, so he's not reliant on it like Raiden and Baraka are. He can make use of it, of course. It's a plus, being able to just do pokes into this all the time. Of course it's a plus to get your turn off of pokes, but Johnny doesn't need this. He has the fastest poke in the game, he has insane plus frame, so he is okay on block even without cameos. He doesn't really need the viability, and all of the combo viability he was getting from Cyrax, all of the set play viability is still there. Everything is here, it's not different. So yeah, ideal cameos are still here. These two are pretty much still maybe the ideal cameos, but I want to switch characters now to just show another one who, in my opinion, gained a lot of value from these two getting left. So let me just switch and I'll be back.
Johnny Cage. Cyrax. Striker, Cyrax, the tea house.
Alright guys, we are back. Of course, the other cameo, I'm pretty sure you know that if you watched any of my videos, it's Striker. My man, my goat, I love him. Striker, I've said it multiple times, other than the HP value nonsense, it shouldn't even exist, and I really hope they just change this. Like, no cameo should have an effect on HP. It's driving me insane because this is no way to balance the cameo system. 50 HP less being for Goro doesn't mean it's on par with Cyrax or Kung Lao. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. It's just that simple. Or at least it wasn't on par with Cyrax or Kung Lao. Kung Lao is still significantly better than him. Cyrax, you could argue, is worse because Cyrax lost a lot of value for much of the roster with the nerf now. Havoc is probably in the trenches now though. Havoc really needed the ground source. He really needed them. And so did Baraka and Raiden, who got nerfed themselves. But regardless with that, Striker, I've said it multiple times, I believe Striker is the only cameo in the game you can run on every single character and he will bring you value. It's pretty much the perfect cameo. No cameo in the game is just as perfect as this guy. It gives you utility on every single thing. Everything. The bombs are now basically a better version of the swords. They are the exact same. Striker didn't change, it's the same. So, the bombs, you still get the bullshit you got with Cyrax, like poke into shit, you still get it. And this is even better than, actually this is even better than the swords, because getting Striker is impossible in this scenario, and if you attacked me here, you are fucked, because, like, let me just put him on reversal mode. Let's just put it on I suppose, Cybernet, self-destruct. I don't know what I want to... Let's just do Ballbuster. I mean, let's see if it works. Like, if you actually try to attack me, of course you get hit by that. If you try attacking me, Striker will hit you for most moves you do.
Here we go.
He hits you. And if you didn't do something like Ballbuster on reversal, you are kind of fucked, because if you tried... Where's the recording? There we go. If you attempted to actually use a standing one, a string of swords, against me, now you are in trouble. Because
Here we go.
my man is here, and if he gets you with the bombs, it's a full combo.
Here we go.
And it's a mid, so you can't even low profile it, and it scales much less than the swords. So you still have the same viability you had with Cyrax. Like, this shit is still possible with Striker. Like, poke into this, still possible, and I still get a full combo for most of the hits you'll try to trade against me with. Like, and I get even more damage, because the bombs don't scale. They have no scaling. So, you see, like, I get them with the bombs, I do my combos. They don't scale, pretty much. This is doing pretty much the same damage as it would do normally, even without the bombs. So, as you can see, the bombs pretty much just add 2% on that, because the bombs just don't scale. They almost have no scaling, so that brings another plus Kung Lao and Cyrax don't bring, and that just hype combos how much damage Johnny can ramp up. With Striker, one hit is enough to finish the game. So yeah, with Striker you're doing obscene amounts of damage. The damage you can do with Striker is unreal. But the double hype stuff is now not possible. This is Cyrax specific, of course. But, so we have established block advantage, like keep yourself plus on block. Striker is even better than Cyrax is, because you don't even need to jail from Rising Star. You can just do shadow kicks like this. You don't even need to do Rising Star because the bombs are mids. Crouching under them doesn't work, so I don't even need to jail you into him. I just do this. Striker call. If you try punching me, most of the time I just get you in the face, like. I got a full combo because this stuns for a while. But as you can see, Striker has a problem. Outside of height, his combo utility for Johnny is much less than Cyrax's. Like, Cyrax's air swords are amazing after nut punches. Striker, the only way he can combo is, unfortunately, just like Kano. He needs the EX version of the nut punch. Without that, you can't really chain him in combos. You can after Rising Star and shit like that, but the damage isn't just like Cyrax. It's not on the same caliber. So he is slightly weaker. He's slightly weaker for Johnny. And the combos you do with Striker, the optimals with Striker are much more difficult than doing the ones with Cyrax, so you need much more practice. So we've established combo viability is still there. In hype, Johnny becomes the most damaging character in the game when using Striker, even more than Sentos times Kenshi. So Striker has his utility in combos and on block. Not to mention, he is by far the best partner on block, like in block streaks, even more so than Kung Lao. Because of the buttons. This is guaranteed, and it's +6, and this will trade with everything you try and do, including Johnny's poke most of the time, and is also plus on hit. So, but it's only +1, unfortunately. So the buttons are still insanely good for blockman. The button utility is insane, but unfortunately the cooldown of them is very, very long. Like, it's pretty much double the cooldown Kung Lao has, so it's not as good, but the mix-up it gives you is insane. Like, blocking against Johnny when he has Striker is borderline impossible, man. It's so hard, because it takes a while until you can actually tell which one is this. Like, if I did a lower or overhead button. So you have to basically guess between them, and Johnny has so many strings that are a low or an overhead. He has this, lower and overhead in here. He has this, which is a low and an overhead, so I can just do this, overhead button, this, low button. So you can see, and because this is plus, I can just jail you with my plus frames, and then Striker is already back. So I can get him guaranteed on block, and just enhance the mix-up. And if I get you once, you're hitting 6%. 6% from each of these. And finally, also has the handcuffs. A tool to restand. Now, is this very, very viable with Johnny? Probably. I mean, it's +35 on hit, so I can just go into this. Like, I go into my plus strings, and we're forced to deal with it again. So, ending combos with this is actually much more viable than ending with Shadow Kick, because you deny their wake-ups. The enemy can't even do an armor move after this. Like, if I put them on reversal mode, and I put them on enhanced Shadow Kick, which is the armor move, after Striker's shenanigans, I need him to be blocking. Now we will do it, right? No. Let's put him on auto block. Now is he doing it? Damn it. God damn it, yeah, that's not good. I need to find out how you're doing this. Stance, hold. Regardless, just to show, I mean, I'll just control the other Johnny for a second, and I'll have him call Striker and punch me in the face. You can see, Striker call, I got caught. I'm doing the counter, 1 frame counter. I can't input it. It's +35 on hit, so I just deny all wake-up options, which is ridiculously powerful, because the only way to deal with Johnny's bullshit is actually to input armor moves most of the time. You can't really deal with the plus frames otherwise. Even the counter of Johnny, which is pretty much activating frame 1, even that isn't beating the cuffs. Like, I can't. Shadow Kick doesn't work. Breaker works, but as I can see, denying wake-up options is also very powerful for this character. So, I've established what my point here. Striker is a very viable choice still. Unfortunately, he lowers HP, which I hate, but Striker, if you're looking for just the perfect partner, like to just give you everything you could possibly want with a character, like, it gives you everything. Everything. Plus frames on block, block advantage, anything you could possibly want, like, everything. Is even better than Cyrax's, because these are mids. These are mids. So this is even better than Cyrax's.
Here we go.
And if both of them hit, it's even more plus than the Swords of Cyrax. It's +78 if both hit. So, my turn is still here. You can't attack me at all. As you can see, I still get all of the block viability I normally get, but now the grab combos and shit are gone. So, yeah, another great option to consider is Striker. Kano, I sort of mentioned him, but Kano is just a much worse version of Striker, so I wouldn't really pick him unless you really love Kano, which is valid. I also love Kano, but Striker is one of the best, if not straight up the best option now, because of the nerf Cyrax and Kung Lao got. Cyrax losing almost all of his block viability is a massive hit, because keeping yourself plus with Johnny Cage just means the opponent gets more frustrated and they're more likely to get hit by you. And when they do get hit, Johnny is just doing a lot of damage. And if you want to spend WoW with Striker, you're still doing a shit ton. Don't get me wrong, like, you need to spend 2 for the EX Nut Punch, unfortunately, but the damage I was getting is still ridiculous. As you can see, the damage is pretty much the same. Unfortunately, I need to use more bar because Striker can't combo off of this. I can't recover in time. You just can't, unfortunately, but maybe you can if I tweak the timing or maybe with the down one or something, but it's not very practical and it's much harder than doing what Cyrax is doing, because Cyrax is very straightforward. Cyrax is very straightforward. Just you do your combo, end with the nut punch, end with the swords, and just do insane amounts of damage that you shouldn't do. So yeah, this is just what it is with Cyrax. So guys, I'm gonna have this one up here. Hope this helped you figure out what Kameo you wanna use. Of course, you can use pretty much everybody in the roster using Johnny. Johnny is just a perfect character. He really doesn't have any weaknesses. He can be struggling a little bit with zoners, but he's so busted, it's not even funny. Most likely the best character in the game now. After Raiden and Syra and Baraka both got nerfed significantly and lost a lot of value from the Cyrax nerfs. So, personally, if you ask me what is the ideal Kameo now, I would say it's probably Striker. I do think it's Striker because block viability is very important in this game, and the handcuffs denying wake-up options is very powerful. And of course he has also the block utility, so it just brings you everything, and Johnny really doesn't need the help. Johnny is insanely busted by himself, so just a Kameo that brings him everything you can possibly give the character is just very good. Striker helps him in neutral because the bombs have a lot of range. Striker helps him with everything. Cyrax's nerf, while it's not as effective on Johnny, it's not affecting him that badly compared to Raiden and Baraka, it's still a significant nerf because losing pretty much all of your block viability with your Kameo isn't good, because now best I can do in block is pretty much this and do the grab mix-ups. I'll just go for the low overheads and shit like that and hope they get hit, but in high level most people won't get opened up by that. So I can't really do much chip damage, but with Striker I still can. So Striker is probably ideal now. But I still feel like Kung Lao and Cyrax are still bringing the same value they were giving before that. So you do you. I feel like you can pick any of these three and you won't really struggle because Johnny is busted and these three are all giving him very good tools. Personally, the one I would gravitate toward is most likely still gonna be Cyrax because I just love the double hype combos. It's the most fun thing in the game for me. I just love them. So I'm probably still gonna stay with my Cyrax. You can see you can still do them, but they are not as strong as they were. But all of the resets, set play, everything is still here. So yeah guys, I'm gonna wrap this one up here. This is just what I wanted to mention. Johnny is insanely busted. He didn't get touched at all. For some reason I don't understand, honestly, because Johnny in ECT was probably the most common character you've seen. Like, everybody was using them. So I'm really surprised they didn't nerf him. I'm not complaining, I really like the character. He's one of my mains along with Kenshi, but still, I do feel it's pretty sus he didn't get nerfed. Like, honestly, he is way too good. Way too good. I feel like this wasn't even a major balance patch. When the full patch loads drop, I'm pretty sure it's only gonna mention like Raiden, Baraka, and a few minor quality of life changes for other characters. But nothing substantial happened for any of the characters in the roster other than Raiden and Baraka. Everybody else is pretty much the exact same other than some scaling stuff and maybe one special move that changed a little bit. So yeah guys, I'm gonna wrap this one up here. I really do like Striker with them. I like Cyrax and I like Kung Lao. All three are very viable. Pick whoever you like most and whoever fits to your game plan. Johnny is insane, so just if you are maining him, don't be afraid because he's the same and he's still ridiculously unfair. So yeah guys, I'll see you in the next one.